Hello, my name is Abigail Logan, and today I'll be presenting on Casablanca. As you can see on this movie poster, we have Rick, Isla, the two main characters of Casablanca, and we have the three big name stars in the movie, which are Ingrid Bergman, Humphrey Bogart, and Paul Henreid. The premise of Casablanca, it takes place during World War II, and we have Rick, the main character, the protagonist, who is very closed off, bitter, with anger due to his ex-love Isla leaving him with no explanation when he fled from Paris. And then he opened up his own shop called Rick's Cafe Americano that does really well. And it's kind of like a really popular nightclub where gambling's involved, a bunch of drinking, singing, just a nighttime enjoyment for a lot of the people in the area in Casablanca. And then we have Isla, who returns pretty early on in the movie, but it's been years since her and Rick last saw each other, and this time she's married to Victor Laszlo, who is a wartime hero, not for fighting in the war, but just for his revolutionary ideas and wanting to see the Nazis be stopped. And as we go through the movie, we see that Isla is very much in love with her husband, but she's also struggling with feelings she still has for Rick. And Rick is very clearly still in love with Isla. And it goes through the movie of just finding out who Rick really is, and Isla and Victor trying to do their best to leave and get to America to be able to do more on the war front while also like saving their lives. So yes, so that's the premise of the movie, and the movie was released in January 23rd, 1943, and as mentioned, the movie's taking place in World War II, but also it was released when World War II was still happening as well. And the Nazis at this time, as well as in the movie, they're infiltrating a lot of the countries in Europe, and they're really oppressing a lot of the people that the Nazis did not agree with, such as like Jews, the LGBTQ community back in that time, and they're doing a lot of really oppressive things. They're very much, Hitler is leading the front on just evilness and hatefulness towards a lot of people at the time, and that's the history and cultural significance then. And America was seen as like a safe haven for a lot of the people in Europe, and so that's why a lot of people would try to go from Casablanca to Lisbon and then to America. The significance of the movie is that the directors and the cast were trying to really call out on America's ignorance and their unwillingness to help other people during this time. The movie was a success at the box office, and Americans really felt the wake-up call that it was offering and how much more they need to help in the war front, and supporting all those fighting and also supporting those who are trying to get to America. It won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Writing, Adapted Screenplay in 1944, which is also the year that World War II ended. Some of the obstacles that Rick faced during this movie was his love life versus his moral obligation. He really loved Isla, but as mentioned earlier, she was already married at the time, and so obviously if he was trying to insert himself in that love life, it would be breaking up a marriage. Whether she had feelings in return or not, it wasn't morally correct. Other obstacles he had was his self-preservation versus doing the correct thing. He wanted to protect himself, and he had, in all sense of the word, a great life where he was rich, he had influence, he had power, he had the business he wanted, yet he found the right thing would to be put all that in jeopardy to get Victor and his influence to America, where he could do even greater works for the war efforts. And Rick is really forced to change throughout this movie, and you see great character development because of just like seeing constantly people being turned in and him having to turn his back on them. And in the movie he says he turns his back for no one, and like he does not help out people. He's just kind of really in it for himself. And I think the best changing point he has in this movie is when he sees how far Isla is willing to go to get Victor and herself to America, and seeing how hardened his heart was, where he was so scorned from his ex-love that he wouldn't help her or anything, and her faking to still be in love with him to even just somehow remotely get back to America. And yes, that is Casablanca. And though Rick and Isla did not have their, as you would say, happy ending, they'll always have Paris. The end. Thank you.